sense to me. Senator Cornyn.
Mr. Melmed, I mentioned Senator Tillis's bill, Preserving Employment Visas Act, which would recapture 92,000 employment-based green cards that went unused. I suppose the answer to this question is obvious, but if we recaptured 92,000 employment-based visas, that would reduce the backlog accordingly, correct?
It certainly would, Senator.
And talk about the impact that would have, what beneficial impact it would have on children who are in Ms. Raja Kumar's situation, if we're able to recapture those green cards. Would it help those who might otherwise age out of the system?
Yes, Senator. You would shorten the wait time for a green card, and wouldn't, of course, protect everyone from aging out, but you would certainly reduce the likelihood and chances of children turning 21 before the parents get a green card.
Okay. And to Senator Durbin's point, lest people think that we all disagree about everything, I mentioned the bill that he and I partnered on, Healthcare Workforce Resilience Act. This would capture 40,000 employment-based immigrant visas for doctors and nurses. If there's one thing I hear from my hospitals in Texas, it's the shortage of nurses because of the burnout factor associated with COVID-19 and the like. And now hospitals are having to pay incredible multiples of what they ordinarily would pay to nurses to contract with companies that basically will provide the nurses at a given price. But Mr. Melmed, you stated that more than 2.6 million migrants are currently employed as healthcare workers. And as I mentioned, about 30% of the physicians in Dallas and Fort Worth are foreign born. What impact would this have if we're able to recapture those 40,000 employment-based visas for doctors and nurses? What impact would that have on the public's access to healthcare?
Well, thank you for highlighting that fact. It is an industry that's, as they say, overrepresented with immigrants, and they're critical to that industry. Addressing the green card backlog would do two things for them. Some of them are already here, and as we've talked about at length, are caught in that backlog and therefore unable to change roles, progress in their roles, start new enterprises. But there's also others in the healthcare industry who come straight to the United States on a green card. And so by making additional visa numbers available, you would actually increase the number of workers immediately, and that would have a near-term impact.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And just as a follow-on to that, Mr. Melmed, I want to recognize from your written testimony submitted that a recent report by the Niskanen Center indicates that if the federal government recaptured 231,000 unused employment-based green cards, the policy would add $216 billion to GDP over 10 years. And if it recaptures 940,000 unused employment-based and family preference green cards, the policy